Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you another Poison Ivy repaint, and this one's a little bit different from the other ones I've done. I've done a couple so far, I've done a couple customs, but I think it's an amazing statue. I love Mark Newman's sculpt. I know a lot of other people do, and sometimes it's always nice to just take the factory statue and kind of freshen it up with some new paint and a little bit of custom work here and there. So I did this for someone in the past week, and they just wanted some different things with hair paint up. And this one was the first version of Poison Ivy with these exclusive flowers, so I had a little bit of a drool coming from them, so it makes them a little bit more sinister. And then other than that, it's just a straight up repaint, no custom work. This little piece over here, that little curl piece right there, every time I do a repaint on this statue, that always seems to break off. So what I had to do is, after I painted up the statue, I attached it back, and then I added some extra A's to wrap a little bit of vine around it to secure it. It's just one of those items where it's very hard to paint the statue unless that breaks off for me. I don't know why, just one of those things. But love the statue. Mark Newman always does an amazing job. And it's just nice to kind of paint this up for people how they want it done on their shelf. So we'll get in a little bit closer, explain a few things, and then just show you what's going on. So the main thing about this one was the hair. Now a couple of the other ones that I painted up, it was more of a bright red hair. The client actually sent me a picture of a female, which I think must have been like in a beauty magazine or something. He really liked the way this hair was done. It was a very orangey mahogany hair with these blonde highlights. So what I did is I matched it up as much as I could to that, because of course, you know, taking a real life photo and then putting it onto a comic book statue like this is kind of hard. But I think we got it pretty good. Client's really happy with it. And it makes a little bit of a different effect to the statue compared to the other paint-ups I've done. And I always tell people, you know, if I'm painting this up for you, how do you want it? How do you want it displayed? So I think in the end it worked out pretty cool. Now, you know, for the face and everything, I gave her, you know, orangey eyeshadow, a little bit more sinister looking, and the client, you know, liked the way this came out better compared to some of the other ones I've done, so it worked out. Lipstick, of course, ran with it. The eyes, I had to redo the eyes on this one because the factory eyes were really messed up on this statue, so we just kind of redid the whole eye. So they're ultra-fine transfer eyes. You can check in the description if you're ever looking to change your eyes on your statues. You can get a couple of the decals, and you could just kind of put some new eyes on your statues. Garage Kit Colors Flesh Tones. Love their flesh tones. The leaves and everything are just mixes of greens, brighten them all up. Did the vines a little bit more brown with some green mixed in, so it's not just straight brown paint. It's got some mix of green strokes with the paintbrush with browns and kind of mixed it here and there. As far as the flowers go, what I did was I got some of that clear epoxy in the syringe. You can find it at, like, you know, Home Depots and Walmarts, and mix it up with some green paint, and I just added drool all over the flowers. I think that works out pretty cool. It really changes them, you know. These are the exclusive flowers, and then I think these are the regular flowers. So we really didn't do anything with those. We just kind of made these look a little bit like, you know, drooling, and they got like some kind of venom coming out of their mouths, which is just a little bit changes like that really change up the statue, at least in those parts. Repainted all the vines. A little bit of a subtle touch is on the flowers here. Because she's walking on her shoes, what I did is I added a little bit more brown dry brushing down to make it look like they're worn compared to the green, fresh, you know, leaves up here. Maybe hard to see in the camera, but up close you're able to kind of see the little bit of a difference. So you figure if she's walking on those feet all the time, those leaves are going to get kind of dirty. So, and then of course the base, I brought out the base a lot more. A lot of Payne's Gray, you'll wash all over the rocks. I really brought all the, you know, the deep cracks out. I did some dry brushing on the rocks. Brought out the green. For some odd reason, this base seemed to be the factory. It was like gray throughout the whole thing. Even the green areas were kind of looking gray. So I just brightened it all up, and I brought more life to it, you know, with all the paint. So it really looks, you know, you can see the difference now, basically. Before, this gray blended in with the gray roots, blended in with the almost gray leaves, so it was very messy. Now, I know what Sideshow was doing with the base. They wanted to make it look like an old green flower pot. The factory kind of really messed it up a little bit. It didn't look like the prototype as much, so what I did is I did like a bronze flower pot, keeping it dark. I like the idea of the bases being dark while the figure is like being brought out more. When you kind of do a brighter green or kind of like a lighter green base, you kind of take away from the figure a little bit. So that's kind of what I ran with. And then I did some dry brushing of like, you know, metal on it because it's like worn a little bit. But other than that, just, you know, straight up repaint. Ran with it. We get up a little bit higher for you guys. There we go. And really love it. And like I said, I love Mark Newman's sculpts. He does women phenomenal. I know the client was really, you know, likes Newman as well. Just a great statue. I just really love this statue with Ivy. I mean, it's a museum pose, but it's still got a little bit of a story to her. You know, like you think like she's flipping her hair and the flowers are growing and she's going to be ready to strike. You know, like kind of like a sexy pose. I like stuff like this where it doesn't take up a lot of room and you still got kind of a story going on. So it's just a great item. It is one of my favorite Sideshow pieces. It's great. I do have a damaged one, and hopefully I'll be able to get to a new character this summer for 2018. See what I could come up with out of that one. But great statue. So there you go. It's simple repaint. If you guys have the statue and you just want to add some drool to your flowers, you can go ahead and do that, and it just changes up the sculpt a little bit more. And that's pretty much it. So there you go. Poison Ivy Repaint. I don't know what number. I've done a couple of them, but this one's a little bit different with the hair compared to the rest. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.